right, so welcome. Today we're hanging out with Jason Glass. He is a fitness expert. You've probably seen his podcast. He does a lot online, a lot of cool stuff. But we're going to talk about something different today, which is what can a golf instructor learn from how he runs his fitness business. So Jason, hey man, how's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm really enjoying your podcast, and it's great to get into your listeners, some new listeners out there.
Yeah, this is gonna be different because the only other fitness person we've really talked to is Lance, and that was a couple months back. And
that guy's a bum.
Yeah, it was pretty lame. You probably don't want to listen to it. So we talk just about like fitness in general, but I want to talk about the business with you because I think there's a lot to learn from the model that the fitness industry has gone to, the golf instructors have not gone to.
Yes, absolutely.
So what's the core of your business? What does it look like? How would you sum it up?
Really, I have kind of 5 fingers to my business. I won't go into, I'll stick to the ones that are on this topic because the other parts are exactly what you're listening to right now. Creating content and getting education out there. I call it edumatainment, which is education and entertainment put together. But that's a whole other entity, and that's probably what people see from the outside. If you've seen any of my stuff on YouTube or listen to my podcast, you would get that side. But what people don't get is the business that I run day in, day out, face to face with people. So what I did was, originally I was in the fitness industry, and like any strength coach, personal trainer, fitness coach, I was just helping people get in better shape. And as I started to niche my market and really get into golf fitness, that's when my company really started to take off. And then I started getting passionate about junior golf and really, helping young juniors, especially the high school age group, develop. And so I partnered up with Matt Paulsenberg, my business partner, and the two of us designed this business model, which is called the Tour Performance Lab out at Northview Golf and Country Club. So really, my business has 2 parts. Two of the 5 fingers is the Tour Performance Lab. And then the other part is actually just running the fitness end of the tour lab, which is not with juniors; it's with everybody. So there's really 2 elements to that business. But I think what we're getting at, and what you've kind of touched on at the start of this interview, is how the fitness industry and what I've brought from that industry, which is really helping us explode in the golf industry.
Okay, cool. So let's just dive into the Tour Performance Lab. You said you work a lot with juniors. How do you work with juniors? Let's first define what the work you do is, and then maybe talk about how you get students in the door for that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. One of the keys to it is our junior performance business it's a year-long coaching program. And what that means is kids sign up in September. That's the end of the off season, or the start of the off season, I guess. They start just like their school year. They start in September. They sign up for the entire year. And with that, they pay like a monthly fee, and they come. Some come once a week, some come twice a week, and they get their coaching. So in small groups, they'll do their golf coaching for 1 hour, and then they slip next door into our golf kind of fitness lab, which is right next door. It's all in the driving range, and then we do an hour of fitness. So you get an hour of golf instruction, an hour of fitness every single time you come into the lab. And then those 2 elements are really intertwined with the yearly training plan, where we plan out the year of what the golfers need so that come competitive season, they can just hit the ground running.
Gotcha. So do you make students commit to a year up front and have a strategy session and get everything planned out at the very beginning and then ask them to commit to an entire year? Absolutely.
Huh. Yeah, we have to make sure the golfer is as committed as we are. So what we do is to ensure that is we have a deposit. So if you can get them to have a large deposit at the start and then smaller monthly payments every month, if they choose to, let's say, leave after 3 months or 6 months, then at least you have the deposit, which means that you've retained a lot of the money that goes into the infrastructure. Because if we're planning on having 40 kids in our program, then all of a sudden you have 20. Well, if you've had the infrastructure, the coaches that you've hired, the all the stuff that goes into place, the equipment that needs to be purchased, all this infrastructure that has to be put in place, and you have half as much business, you got a problem. So what we do is we take the initial deposit, and what we do is we save that deposit, and then we use that for promotional things for the kids. So one of the coolest things, and I don't want to give away our best secret. You know what? Screw it. This is for your listeners. We're going to give away our secret.
All right.
What we did was we created some golf bags. So we get like a Titleist golf bag, and we put our logo on the side, like big, bold logo. Team Lab. So now every tournament that the players go into, they've got our advertising on the side of their bag. More importantly than advertising to others is the sense of team for the players. These kids feel like they're part of something. They feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves, and that gives them confidence. It gives them strength. It builds a community of kids that are all working for the same goal. And that has been the best thing that we've ever done with our business, is really create a community, and the kids love it.
That's amazing. So, I bet a lot of people are asking, like, I have a couple kids that I could build community with, but the kids that I work with are all over the board. So, can I put together, somebody that shoots 100 and somebody that shoots 75? How do you deal with creating a team out of a diverse group of kids, or do you just focus solely on one type of junior?
No, we have all types of juniors. We do divide them up. Like we have 40 kids that are in our lab program. Now, the lab program is for high school age kids, but then we also have a Labsters program, which is for the little kids. And that's kind of like a feeder system. And we have now 70 kids in our Labsters. We built this program just to feed, like when kids graduate each year, you have to have new kids to come in. So we built this other program. Well, now it's actually becoming bigger than the actual program it was meant to feed. But the point is that if you have an elite player, and I call an elite player someone that's competing on a regular basis, CJGAs, they're playing in the BC Junior, they're playing in the Canadian Junior. These are real competitors. I can have that kid in with a kid that's maybe new to competition, as long as they match with their passion and their intensity to improve. So they can't, like the kid that's really good, I put them into a mentoring role, and I say to them, okay, you're playing with so-and-so, he is really fired up to play with you, and he's looking forward to learning. I want you to be a mentor. Remember when you were coming up, how you had a kid that you looked up to, you are now that kid. And put them into that role so they feel like, I don't know, they really get into it. It really is, everybody's looking out for each other.
Wow, that's amazing, the mentorship thing. That's pretty cool. So does every student have a counterpart student that they work with, or
not necessarily? I think everybody is. It becomes a family where everybody looks out for each other. Everybody has an older brother, but from day to day, usually they work in the same groups. We try to keep them, like the elite players stay with the elite players. Tuesdays and Thursdays is when I'm coaching with Matt. The two of us are working with these players. These are the elite group. But Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday are learning how to compete. It's like the kids that are wanting to get into competition, but they're not quite ready. And they're working with Chris Lutz and Lindsay Mannion, our other coaches. So it's almost like a graduation program where sometimes on a Monday, I'll be walking down the range and I'll see this kid that's in our Learn to Compete. And I'll see him hitting some balls. And I'll just look over at him and go, oh, man, it's looking good. I'd love to see you on Tuesday nights. And the kid looks at me almost like, do you think I could make the team? I'm like, you know what? You keep practicing like that, we'll be seeing you on Tuesdays. And the kid's like, wow, I get to be on the team lab, which is the competitive team. So you have to create that. You have to create that spark in somebody that inspires them to go like, I got to be better. And if I work harder, then I'm going to be accepted into the next level. I think that's important. And you can do that if you only have two. You don't need 40 kids. You can do it if you have 2 juniors, 5 juniors. You just have to set the bar and tell them what they need to accomplish and have some kind of a mission, something that they can really, believe in, and then just give them the tools and the steps on how to get there, and then just keep pushing them along that path.
So community in the process of student development is obviously having that is a major benefit. So they're working together. Is there anything else that you do together? Do you try to get them together outside of golf? Do you keep them communicating together in a Facebook group? Like, what do you do to build community to go along with that?
You know what? We tried that. I love social media, but when you start communicating with high school kids through Facebook, I think it's kind of creepy, to be honest. And I don't like to do that. I don't. We tried communicating with them because we knew that that was the method of communication that they were using. But for me to go on to their Facebook into a chat room and say, "Hey, by the way, you did great Tuesday," it's there's too much ambiguity, and I don't like even just text. You know what it's like. You text somebody on the weekend, you're like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" And they're like, "Whoa, why do you have to be such a jerk? You knew I broke my leg." I don't know. There's too much. I would rather have a communication face to face with the kids, so we don't use that very much. And outside, honestly, I really feel like our kids are there. They're there. Some of them are there 4 or 5 times a week. Just practicing and train. They've got enough of golf, and even though that becomes their community, that becomes their friendship, I also want them to have friends outside. And we push more kids away, saying, "Hey, you know what? What are you doing on the range today? It's Friday. Why don't you go to a movie with your friends?" And then when you hear a kid go, "Well, these are my friends," it makes you feel good, but it also kind of makes you feel sad that maybe they don't have a balance outside of golf. And so we try to encourage that as well.
That's a good perspective. Okay, another community question. How does community play into you? Obviously, you mentioned the golf bags with the logo, so they're advertising in a sense, right, for you. Is there any way that community helps you to build your business? Does it help your referrals? Have you noticed a difference since that? Like, what would you say?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the best advertising you can have is if, the kid with the lab bag wins the tournament. And it's not the other kids. Like, other kids go, "Oh, that'd be really cool to be a part of the lab," but it's the parents. Unfortunately, the sad thing is it's the parents. The parents go, "Well, hold on, that kid just beat my kid. Well, what are they doing at the lab that's different than what I'm getting at my instructor's place?" And you know what? All the other instructors are doing a great job too. It's you know what I mean? It's just, and then our kid gets beat the next week, and then the parents are all like, "Oh, well, who does that kid see as an instructor?" And we don't like to play that game. I really feel like the golf pro world, the golf instructors world, and golf coaching, it seems like it's all like, these are my kids, and my kids did this, and my kids did that. It's like, no, how about we're all just growing the game, and we're all making a living doing this, and we're very supportive. If we've got a kid who's looking for a certain element that we feel if we can't provide, we'll gladly phone up one of our competitors and say, "Hey, this kid's looking for this type of instruction. I know you're really great at putting. You got a putting studio. How would you like to take a look at our kid and maybe tell us what you think?" We're fine with that, because as long as the kid at the end of the day gets better, we all win. There's enough kids out there for everybody. Put it that way.
Gotcha. Before we move on, just real quick, could you clarify the program, exactly what that entails? Because I know you mentioned they can come as much as they want, but like, what's kind of the feature list that you give to people when you describe it to them?
Yeah, our main focus is that they come at least once a week. It's an hour of golf, an hour of fitness. That is like that is the education aspect of the class. Past that, they're there. When I say they're there 4 or 5 days a week, they're just practicing. They're on the range. They're hitting balls. They have access to the golf course. And Northview Golf and Country Club has got 36 holes. It's a fantastic facility. They've got access to the course, so they're going out and playing golf with each other. And then when they come in, even if I'm not working with them that day, I see them walking in. They all say hi to their friends. And I say, "Hey, how'd your round go?" And you have those conversations. So even though it might not be their day to be coached, you're always with them. And you're always a part of their life. Some kids, their parents pay for 2 days a week. And some of them have private coaching on top of that. What's really cool is this year we're introducing something brand new, and it's called Lab High. And it's where the school board has actually we've gotten together with the school board and set up a way that kids can actually get credits in high school for our academy, because our academy is established. It's set up in a way. They know they're getting education. They know they're getting fitness. So the school board's saying, "Well, what if we give you credit for the time that you spend at the lab, and consider that some of your physical education or your social aspects?" There's different credits for it. So we're actually integrating it, and now the kids can come during high school times. So they might show up at 1:00 in the afternoon, and they're getting credit for it. So that's pretty cool.
Wow, that's
times
amazing.
are changing.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. All right, so we've got this aspect of fitness, which most instructors, I don't know, let's say they've gone through a level 1 cert, so they're somewhat familiar with it, right? So instead of trying to do it on their own, maybe they want to partner with someone like you to build up a program like that. Do you think that an instructor should try to do it on their own, go through some certification, some TPI stuff, try to get a grasp of it? Or is it just better to partner with someone and try to integrate these together in that way? What would be your thoughts on someone who really loves fitness and really understands the value that it has for a program?
That is a fantastic question, because I get this question probably a couple times a month, maybe once a week. Yeah, I get what happens is I'll get an email or I have a thing on the Coach Glass podcast where it's a hashtag YoJ where people can ask questions. And so someone will say, Yo Jay, I'm a golf professional. I just got certified as a fitness professional. How should I get started? And I'm like going, what are you talking about? Get started? Get started doing what? You're a golf professional. Stay in your lane and be the best golf professional you could possibly be. Get as educated as you can about the body and how the body interacts with the golf swing and how they connect. But be a golf pro. That's your passion. You became a golf pro because you loved instructing golf. Just like for myself, I'm a fitness coach. I'm a strength coach. I get to hang out with the top 100 instructors in the world. I get to travel on the PGA Tour and work with some of the best players and the best coaches in the world. I could probably give a golf lesson better than a lot of golf pros out there, but I will never do it. And I don't mean to offend anybody that's a golf pro. I'm just saying I've been very fortunate to be around some of the greatest minds in golf. I could give a great golf lesson. I will never do it because I'm a fitness coach. But all my education, my TPI and all that kind of stuff that I invested in, it helps me be a better strength coach, not a golf coach. So I highly recommend that a golf coach that's into fitness, that's really, on the nose, they hire the best strength coach or the best fitness or medical person they can find in their area that matches their philosophy, and they just go after it and do what they do, but communicate and build a team, kind of that community. Get that fitness person in your community working with you.
So certifications need to be used in a sense with the goal to better understand what you do, not do something new. That's kind of what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah, we've actually changed the way we advertise people on the TPI website. So what we have is, for those who don't understand, once you've gone through level 1 TPI, you're a certified TPI instructor, okay? Which means you have the ability to screen people. You have the ability to figure out what's going on with their body and how it correlates with their golf swing. Fantastic. That puts the fitness, the medical, and the golf pro all communicating on the same level. But then after that, you can specialize and go into level 2 or level 3 classes where you can become a certified fitness professional or a certified golf coach. Now, as soon as you go into those tracks, you can go anywhere you want. So, for instance, myself, I have a Golf Pro 2 and a Golf Pro 3 certification. Now, I can't advertise myself as a TPI Golf Pro Level 3, because what would happen is if I advertised myself that way, someone would phone me up and say, can I set up a session with you? Absolutely. They show up, they've got their golf clubs, and I'm like, did you bring your gym strip? And they're like, no, I'm here for a golf lesson. I'm like, oh. You know what? I'm actually a fitness coach. So we didn't want to have that. So what we do is we say, if you have a degree or a certification in fitness, let's say, that's your major. If you want to get the golf pro, that's a minor. So we'll advertise you as a fitness pro, but we'll advertise underneath that your minor was golf, junior, and medical track. You minored in those, but you're not certified in them as far as just so they know what they're expecting when they come to find you.
Yeah, no, really, really good clarification. I appreciate that. That's that'll be useful. Okay, so
Absolutely.
Do you have a good example or somebody, or maybe it doesn't have to be specific, that comes to mind of how they got some knowledge in the fitness area and then how they applied it really well? Is there an example or something that you have?
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, my business partner, Matt Paulsenberg, has done that, and that's why we paired up. This will sound really bad because I'm gonna say a bunch of names that people already know that I work with them. So it's kind of self glossing a bit, but obviously my business partner, the investment that he made to learning into how the body works is making him a better golf pro, and it's allowing us to work as a team better. On the PGA Tour, Mark Blackburn, we work together with players, and it is so great to have someone, again, who has the fitness background and the knowledge of the body that he could actually prescribe fitness exercises to them. He never will because he's a golf pro, but he could. So what that means is we can actually have communication where I'll be working with an athlete and I will say to him, hey, you know what? I've been doing this drill with them and I feel like we're getting some good results. And what's great about him is he comes back and he goes, Jay, that's a great drill, but not for that player. This is a player who really has a fear of any ball going left. And if you get his shoulders on that angle and he's turning through that angle and not maintaining his spine angle, you know what? He's going to start to pull the ball a bit or he's going to start to draw it more. And we want to see him fading the ball. So I love the drill, Jay, but just not for that player. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like that is a complete understanding and a way for a team to work together. So then what we see now is there's other coaches out there with some of my other tour pros who don't work with Mark. They have a golf pro, and what I love is when I interact with the golf pro, they go, hey, you know what? I want to learn more about that. Is there any way we can come up to Vancouver, go to the lab, and just watch you work with our player so that we can learn a little bit more about the biomechanics, a little bit more about your screening techniques? And so we do that, and that is, anytime someone is willing to learn and be open to learning, I'm all for it.
That's amazing. I love that. What does a good relationship look like then? So you're going to go out and you're going to go find a fitness instructor to partner with. It's a good fit. You like each other. Like, what should the arrangement look like? How is it healthy? How do both parties stay engaged and feel like this is a good thing to do?
That's a great one. Initially, when I first started out, there was this, and this is a philosophy. Not to get too wooey on people here, but a lot of people feel like there's a limited resource out there, and you just got to take what's yours. And once you've taken yours, then it leaves less for others. So what I was finding is I was working with some golf pros. They had clientele, and they would introduce me to the client, and I'd say, okay, well, yeah, I'll screen them, and then I'll build them some exercise programs, and they can start to come and see me. Well, other golf pros were like, I wouldn't do that. Don't send your person to Jay. He's going to take your business away. So then I'd be like, well, how am I going to take your business away? Well, they felt that, let's say golfer A has, let's say $1,000 in their budget for golf, and they're currently spending $1,000 with the golf pro. Well, now you add Jay into the mix, and all of a sudden that $1,000, maybe $400 of it's going to go to Jay. Now this golf pro has lost $400 in revenue, and he's only got $6. Well, if you have that mentality, I guarantee you're going to fail at business, because what you're not looking at is the big picture, where maybe you might just inspire that client and 7 of his buddies to become a part of this culture, become a part of this community, and have long-term goals, long-term benefits, where you'll actually be growing your business, not somebody taking your business away. So I think that's important. The business arrangement, I always say that you need to take care of your referrals. So if a golf pro sends me a player, I always like to take care of that golf pro and make sure that they know how much I appreciate their business, and also send them as much business as possible as well. It has to work both ways. I don't expect everybody to start an LLC and combine the golf pro and the fitness pro into one. That's a pretty big commitment. That's something that we've done, but I think for at first, you find someone you believe in. They treat your clients the way you would expect to be treated yourself, and then you just refer clients back and forth to each other, and just be happy. Share, be open, and be open to the idea that there's an unlimited resource. If you're doing a great job and you're providing a fantastic service, it can be unlimited.
Awesome. I 100% agree. The abundance mindset is another way to say it that I've heard before. And I totally agree. There's always enough resources. There's always enough money. Some people would say there's scarcity of that. That's not true.
Yeah.
if you believe that. All right. Anyways, I guess one very specific question, but would you as a fitness professional work with a handful of instructors, or would you try to keep it exclusive, or should an instructor look for an exclusive? Like what? I don't know, but very technical question that people might have.
No, I think that you have to have your go-to guy that works for you. But saying that, you got to take the student or the client into mind. So we have some athletes who travel to us. They travel an hour and a half to get to our academy to do junior work. Well, they do that once a week. What about the rest of the week? So what we have in our referral system is they might have their own golf coach at their own golf club. And we will work with them instead of like trying to say, no, it's our client now. No, let's all work together. So I try and work with as many golf pros as possible. But I'm kind of in a different position because of being a lead instructor for TPI. My job is really to make sure that everybody's doing well. That's why I designed this mentorship program that I run, is to make sure that people know how to run a business and how to have success in their business and use these techniques to benefit them, really push forward. So I'm in a little bit of a different role, but what I found is the more I'm helping other people, the more success I'm having. Because like you said, the abundance theory, it's like the more I help others, it comes back to you. I don't know why or how, but it does. So I think that a golf pro should have multiple fitness options that'll be fit right for their student, not fitting right in their pocketbook. But maybe this student needs the yoga instructor that's soft-spoken, and maybe this one needs to be pushed harder with this militant, shaved head guy that pushes people through their push-ups and makes sure that they reach their goals. There's a different fitness professional for each person.
Okay, very cool. Got it. I feel like we're clear on that. Plenty of clarity now.
Okay, good.
All right. So back to your business. So you've got a lot of kids in your program. Obviously, you know how to get people excited about something, get them involved. How do you, combining fitness and golf, grow your business? Obviously, a lot of it, the golf bags is one specific tactic that you take. But what's like your big picture strategy that you use?
Well, I think it's exposure to the word of mouth. You cannot beat that. That is the best promotion you could possibly get. We don't advertise. We don't advertise our services because we feel like the word of mouth is getting out there and we're getting our message out there. But I really feel that if you create, and I said this before, and people are going to be like, oh God, here he goes again about community. But if you can create a culture inside your business, and this is I think this is the main point. So if people are still with us at this point, I applaud you for that, for one. But two, I want to say that you said, what do fitness people bring, or what can a golf pro learn from a fitness provider running a business? It is that sense of mission. It is that sense of there is a meaning behind what we're doing. And I feel like a lot of golf pros, they just put their sign up and say, we're open for business, but there's nothing for people to believe in other than I'm just going to get better at golf. And as much as people want to get better at golf, they want to be a part of something. So have a mission and clearly state what your mission is. Put it out there and let people get behind that mission. Be a leader and allow people to follow. But in that, inspire others to be leaders in your community. Now, I know this sounds, Jay's on his soapbox. Here he goes. But I'm being serious. That's what fitness people bring. And when I listen to golf professionals talk about their business, there are a few ones, but often I don't hear the passion. I don't hear the how inspired they are or how they change people's lives. They talk about technique. They talk about different shot shapes, and I'm like, that's great, but why are you doing it? If you can reach in and tap into why you're a coach, what are you doing it for? And then share that with the world. You will see that will be the best source of advertising you can ever do, because people are going to get behind you. They're going to start to believe in you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's your mission? Like, what example? What's your mission?
Yeah.
For you?
Well, my mission is to inspire others to greatness. And again, that sounds cheesy, like, there's a fitness guy inspiring others to greatness. Here's what it is. I got to a certain point in my career where I was having success, and business was doing great. And I had a conversation with one of my mentors, Mike Voigt, Dr. Mike Voigt. He's, for those who don't know, he's on the TPI advisory board. He's one of the greatest physiotherapists. He really developed what we see today as performance medical techniques being used for performance training. I was sitting there talking to Mike, and I said, you know what? I had all these goals, and I was telling him that I achieved them. I'm standing on top of the mountain, and now I'm feeling a little bit lost. I'm looking out on the mountain ranges, and I'm going, now what? I don't know how to dream of my next accomplishment. I feel like I'm kind of lost right now because I just had accomplished a massive goal at that point. And he said something that stuck with me, and from that day, it's changed my mission. He said to me, Jay, you reached your goal, and you know what? There might not be another peak for you. I'm like, what? My career's done? He says, no, Jay, it's not done. What you need to do is stop looking for another peak. And now you're at a point in your career where you have to bring someone else up to your peak. And I was like, bam, that just blew my mind. Instead of thinking of just what can Jay do next, it's how do I help others get to this level? How do I bring them up to where I'm at? And that's when I decided my mission is not going to be about what can Jay do, but instead of how do I inspire others to greatness instead of myself. And in doing that, the coolest thing has happened. I started this mentorship, and these people come, and they're coming for inspiration. They're coming to better their business, better themselves. And in doing so, it's bettering me. I have become such a better coach, a better father, a better husband, all those things because of the people that I'm trying to help. In doing so has helped me. So that's my mission, and that's why I started my podcast. That's why you do what you do. I started my podcast because I needed to get the message out to a bigger audience and inspire more people, and those people inspire people, and those people inspire people, and so on and so on and so on. That's the idea.
No, that's awesome. It makes sense so much. And if people want to learn from you in person, your mentorship program that you mentioned a couple times, I know you mentioned that it's full here this July. But maybe next year, or if they're really interested, how can they get in touch with you or learn more about that?
Yeah, just become part of the community. Go to jasonglasslab.com and sign up for a newsletter. I just send out my information, or get on the podcast. Go into iTunes. After listening to this, you can go check it out, Coach Glass Podcast. And just stay a part of the community, and you will find out all the information. We do it once a year. We only take a small amount of people, like anywhere from 6 to 10 people, small group, and we just dive into their business. We dive into what they're doing as far as their personal goals, and then we also do a lot of advanced training on how to work with biomechanics, pressure plates, force plates, all those kind of the technology of golf, but how to tie it into advanced training techniques and how we use it to make athletes better. So it's kind of a mix of many things, but it's three Power Pack days, and we usually do it in July, so we get some nice sun out of Vancouver, and people get to enjoy themselves for a couple days.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great.
Yeah, very cool.
Make sure people go check that out. We'll link it up on the site. And man, this was good. So much to cover. We'll definitely have to have another conversation here sometime because we just
I'd love to
touch the surface. I feel like.
I agree, but I got to say, Cordy, you doing this and having this kind of avenue of ways of communicating with people and getting it out to your golf pros, I have to compliment you on it because this podcast community is so important. And some people blow it off. They're like, oh, it seems like everybody's got a podcast now. But the people that have legs that are staying in it and seeing it through, like yourself, it's happening because you believe in what you're talking about. You believe in the people you're interviewing, and it shows. I love listening to your podcast. I recommend it to all my people, and I wish you all the success, and I hope you keep doing it because your mission is important.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, I more than ever, I feel like, if we can educate instructors, fitness people on how to build better businesses and teach better, just in general, it's going to help everybody. You're going to help people. You're going to help golf, which people love to say, help golf. And it's just that overall thing. And, right back at you, man, you're doing amazing work with what you're doing. You're, like you said, you're inspiring greatness, and it's that effect of you touch this many people, and then those people go out and they have an effect on more people.
You hope so.
For sure.
You hope so.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you again soon, man.
Absolutely. Thanks, Cordy, and cheers, everybody.